Hashtag active gunman in the building. As much as I'm tired of superhero movies, Superman was one of my most anticipated films of the year because I think that James Gunn understands the bizarre shit that makes comic books so fun. A talking raccoon, an eagle sidekick, or polka dot man are the goofy bullshit I love. But wait a second. What about the reviews? While the Rotten Tomatoes score is good, a lot of positive reviews feel a bit lukewarm, and many of the negative reviews come from really big sources. Empire gave it 2 stars and called it pleasantly imperfect, which is not the kind of a compliment you want to hear. The Guardian also gave 2 stars, even though the same reviewer gave the new Jurassic World 4 stars just days before. Forbes calls it painfully mediocre. And you know this guy is serious because he threatens he will not pre-order the 4K Blu-ray. He'll get the Blu-ray Steelbook instead. But as you know, negative reviews don't matter. When you disagree with negative reviews, they are written by page shills. It's only when you agree with them when they are based. So what did I think of this film? The gun didn't jam. Superman starts in media res. You get thrown into an already ongoing combat. Superman got caught in an international conflict before the film even started. And what I appreciate the most, this is not an origin story. Superman has been doing this shit for a while. People of Metropolis know him. He's been dating Lois for a little bit already, and the world is used to this bullshit. Kaiju fight or a giant squid in the sky are just a normal annoyance in this world. The superheroes feel very lived in. This is not just our boring world with superheroes slapped on top. It's an entirely own, fresh universe. A lot of people have a problem with the sense of humor James Gunn uses in his films, and they say it doesn't fit the world of Superman. But I think that's not true. The film definitely has a very Gunn sense of humor, but it never feels like it betrays the character of Superman to tell a joke. Someone like Guy Gardner is the most typical James Gunn character, but Superman is consistently Superman. And when you see him interact with Lois Lane, especially in the interview scene, you don't even feel like you're watching a version of Superman and Lois. You're like, this is Superman and Lois. This scene is fantastic, but I also want to use it to explain my problem with the film. As I said, the film has a really fast pacing. It's like you're thrown into a pool as a baby, and James Gunn is like, learn how to swim, you piece of shit, which is fantastic. But at the same time, I think the film needed to slow down a bit more. I would prefer having more scenes like this, because it feels like Lois and Clark only get the required minimum of screen time. And even more importantly, I think the film needed to spend much more time in Kansas, or at least with Pa Kent and Ma Kent. No spoilers, but considering what the film is dealing with, it feels like they needed to give us much more of them. My second big problem with the film, and this might change on my second viewing, but I feel like I wanted more from Lex Luthor. I think the casting of Nicholas Hoult is brilliant, but I also felt like I wanted to understand him a bit more. Part of me likes that he's just a dedicated hater, and later on it's kind of explained that his ego just cannot handle that someone is unfairly better than him. But I just feel like it was a tiny bit too late, too little. Again, the film could have slowed down for Lex. On the other hand, I really love how the film presents them as complete opposites. Superman sees his humanity as a superpower, and Lex Luthor sees his own humanity as a weakness and tries to suppress it as much as possible, which I thought was wonderful, and I really hope I will like him more on a rewatch. Overall, a lot of the things connected to Lex were much goofier than I expected. And not in a bad way at all when I say goofy. I don't mean Marvel goofy, where the goofiness comes from quips. I mean more like Sam Raimi Spider Man goofy. Which to me means that it's a film that's proud of its silly tone. While a lot of Marvel jokes that don't work for me don't work because they feel like they use them because they are sometimes afraid to embrace its strangeness. If you saw the promotional materials, you saw this character, the Hammer of Boravia. Boravia is, of course, a fictional country, and I guess it's meant to be somewhere in Eastern Europe. And I'm sure someone somewhere will have a take about how it's a negative stereotype of Eastern Europe. But as someone who is kind of from Eastern Europe, I have to say, I don't care. That shit was awesome. The best part of the entire Superman film Well, there were two kids in the cinema sitting behind me that absolutely loved it. Every time Lex Luthor did something evil, they were like, "Oh my god, he's such a dick." And their poor mom had to keep shushing them. As naive as this sounds, I had a nice feeling of, oh, this is what it's all about. These two boys don't know what a Snyder Bro is. They don't care if the film is woke or not. They simply loved it in a very pure way. And it filled me with optimism. Why have a nerd war about this film? Let the kids have fun. Go outside, touch grass, get some bitches.